Older restoration, but definitely one of the smoothest paint jobs in the race. These boys keep this car shined up. Every morning they're out there polishing on this thing. That's a 20-year-old restoration, by the way. Tell me that guy didn't polish that car 3 times a day.
Welcome to Sam's Garage, presented by NH Oil Undercoating. Welcome to the season finale of Sam's Garage. Today we check out some of the highlights from the great race. Sam recaps all the progress made on the Chevy Bel Air this season. Then a few special guests stop by Sam's Garage to discuss the future of NOPI Motorsports. And Sam celebrates National Collector Car Appreciation Day. Sam and Doug recap their adventure together, driving all over the eastern coast of the country on the great race.
What year does your car have to be? How old?
1974 or older. And every year older, you can get a percentage off of your score, which is why old cars always win the great race.
This year we're going to start in Owensboro, Kentucky here on June 22nd, and we're going to travel back roads all the way through Ohio and make our way over into Maine. And so the last couple of days we're going to be cruising around some of that beautiful coastline there in Maine. We'll have some lobster when we get up there, so I think we're all really excited about some of that. So yeah.
And win Grand Champion and never get expert, just go straight to Grand Champion. But that's pretty rare. We've had some rookies get really good scores, but they will win the rookie class, but that's usually about 40-some down the list for the whole racing pit. So each division gets their own prize and their own trophy, but the goal is to win it all. If you win it all, there's $180,000 of prize money available, $50,000 check for the team that wins it all.
We just got done with a driver's meeting and a 2-hour novice lesson. Man, what do you think about that?
Well, I tell you what, Sam, I really do feel like a novice. You know, normally I drive cars really fast. This one we're going to be driving very precisely, and we've got to really take a look at what we're doing. This isn't a speed race, this is a time race. Both of us are seasoned racers, but we are truly rookies.
Some more of our corporate sponsors, husband and wife doing the thing. Awesome sponsors, we're glad they are here. Another one of those teams that came around to see what the race was about, put a car in it, thought it was pretty fun, decided they'd take their company logo and put it on the side of the race.
We're a sponsor and a participant in the great race. My wife and I own and operate the company, and we're participating this year. She's the navigator, I'm the driver. We made no wrong turns, we're enjoying this. It's been great people, great time, and we're having a ball. We appreciate everything all the people involved in the great race are doing. They're volunteers, all the workers, all the towns that have been welcoming us like crazy. The enthusiasm has been exciting. We're just happy to be here and be able to be a participant.
Throwing them the keys and giving them an opportunity to drive around the country in the great race, and that's what they're doing. We love seeing them come in every day. Some days they're thrilled, some days they look like they seem a little stressed. Did y'all pass any lobsters on the way in? No? That's probably a good thing. All right, roll on up there. Get your scores.
I've been doing the great race now since 1998. Participate usually about every other year. This is my 8th race. In 2018, we actually won Sportsman Division from my hometown of Buffalo, New York, going all the way to Halifax. Very amazing event. A lot of sun and exposure out there. In the elements, there's no roof, there's no doors. You get what you get in this car. Having a good time. Today, we got an ace, so we are very excited. Winning an ace in the great race is just one of those things that it just gives you a little adrenaline rush. At the end of the day, you might be exhausted, but if you get an ace, it's one of the things that just lifts you up. So we're so excited. My driver, Sean, he's a rookie this year, I'm an expert, and we've been crushing it.
Look at this. This is incredible. You don't get this kind of welcome from any other racing. And all the other racing, it's fun, it's great, but it does not test you the way this does. And we race.
Every race, and you're tested for at least 6 to 8 hours a day. You can't make a mistake, and if you do, you got to make it up. This was work.
Everyone needs to do this at least once.
At least once.
A partner, a relative, a spouse, siblings. This is the coolest race. It really tests your ability to pay attention, follow instructions, and get along with people.
Yeah, we're out in the middle of nowhere, and there's people lining the streets waving. How they knew we were coming through, I have no idea.
And all these old cars made it. Only a small percentage
And on top of that, we saw 2 bears and a bunch of turkeys.
Yes.
And those weren't the drivers.
Welcome back to Sam's Garage, presented by NH Oil Undercoating. Sam and Julie take us for a walk around the 55 Chevy Bel Air project from this season, highlighting the transformation of this timeless classic.
Well, the 55 Bel Air is done, isn't it?
It is.
It wasn't a bad job considering it was our first one.
Yeah, no, I think it went okay.
Let's go outside and take a look at the whole thing.
Sounds good.
All right, so Julie, what made this project a little bit more difficult and different is the fact that we have a convertible Bel Air, and apparently they have an X-frame. So on this case, we have a 4L80, and the 4L80 is about 3 or 4 inches longer than a 4L60. And so what we have to do is move the engine forward about 1.5 inches to get it to fit.
Okay, I've helped you put in a lot of engines, a lot of transmissions, but I have to say, this one was scary because it's so big.
Well, normally what I like to do is put the engine in first and the transmission separate.
Yeah.
Historically, that's what I've always done.
Right.
But in this case, we had the nose off. I went ahead and took advantage of that. We had the items together. The Bobby Bueller engine worked out pretty good. And the cool thing is that everything clears. That's very nice, and everything underneath is nice and flush with the bottom of the car, including the Pipes exhaust system.
Oh, yeah.
It turned out pretty nice considering, like you said, there were some obstacles, but with that Flaming River steering system came with a very nice Flaming River polished column.
Oh yeah, that looks great. That fits this car perfectly.
It's the cherry on top to the interior.
This takes it to a whole nother level.
Yep, it really pops. And then anytime you're adding horsepower like we're adding, you have to consider the brakes and the rear end. Because the rear end is only going to hold, in this case, we had about 100 horsepower, 262 V8. Yeah. We're going to 550 horsepower. So that quick performance, 9-inch rear end with the Willwood brakes, awesome addition.
It's really high quality and it's gonna last.
Well, to complement that rear end and brakes, of course, we have to change out the front brakes. Willwood 6-piston, almost 13 inches, new spindles and hubs. I mean, it worked out really nice on this car. The cool part is the Edelbrock Pro Flow EFI. When you open the hood, you got that round air cleaner, looks old school.
Yeah.
The Summit Racing headers turned out really good. They were able to clear the Flaming River steering system that we installed.
Oh yeah, and the cold case cooling system is fantastic in this car. It all looks so
It's
good.
bling bling.
Yeah.
That's all it needed. Everything
Yeah.
else was done on this car. All it needed was under the hood. When you open it, it's modern. And the cool thing is that with the brakes, the suspension, the rear end, and that rack and pinion, it's going to drive like a brand new car. All he's got to do is add an AC compressor. This thing is ready to go. And you know, you can get all these parts from Summit Racing.
Yeah, and then you got to top it off with all those incredible low car products.
Well, low car is what makes everything possible when anytime you guys are doing an engine swap with a vehicle.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, quality is key, and everything that went into this Bel Air is high quality, reliable parts.
All right, so Victor, I hope you love your car. 55 Bel Air convertible. I think you may be the only one with all that clearance and a 4L80. Sure, you may have to pull out the engine to do a service on the transmission, but that's just one little small obstacle. And I think in the whole scheme of things, it's worth it.
It's a small price to pay.
And I'm not in Alabama, so that next mechanic, I feel sorry for you, man. I'm sorry. You can call me, but that's about it. You've helped me out a lot in all the projects in the past, but this one you did a lot more. I want to thank you. You did good.
Thank you. And I'm really impressed with all the things that you got done with this project. Nothing went perfectly right, but you managed to get through it and work it out.
None of them ever go perfectly right. That's why we get paid the big bucks. Well, this pretty much concludes the Bel Air project.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you're wiring up a car, most cars now, you can get products for them where you're not really gonna have to do too much wiring. But when you get over to the custom side of things, this will pretty much do anything that you need it to. This allows you to add connectors. This allows you to crimp pins, different styles of pins. It allows you to loom up your wire, heat shrink. I mean, you name it, you can do it.
Used to be back in the day, we used to have male and female spade connectors. We would connect them together, or we'd just have to solder up the two wires together because we didn't have something fancy like this to be able to terminate something and be able to disconnect and reconnect. And it's going to save the harness when you have something like that, but disconnect and reconnect. This tool right here, this is very nice because you very simply put the crimp connector, the wire in there, pinch it, until it's all the way down, it releases itself. Yep. It's a perfect connection every single time. You take it, you slip it into the connector through the rubber insulation. So whether it could work like a charm, right?
A lot of factory connectors, especially with Toyota and Honda, is it's really difficult to go back in there and deep in the connectors because the pins are so tiny. So the cool thing about these connectors is they have a clip that goes in the middle of the connector that holds those pins in there. And when you pop that clip out, you can go in there saying, I mean, like you have more than enough room to get a pick in there and just pop the pins out if you have to use the wires. Super easy.
Welcome back to more Sam's Garage, presented by NHOU. Sam has special guests Bill Air and Bobby Evans at Sam's Garage to talk about the future of NOPI motorsports and racing.
I got two legends in the studio today, Bobby Evans and Bill Meyer from the NOPI Nationals Motorsports Super Show. This gentleman here started NOPI. You guys remember we talked about William Meyer in episode 3. Bobby Evans was the voice behind the NOPI Nationals and all the NDRA shows. Now we're going to be bringing it back in 2025. Don't forget February 15th at the Linear Raceway right here in Braselton, Georgia. The Invitational is going to be coming, and then we've got September 12th and 13th, 2025. The NOPI Nationals will be coming. Now, you remember the race car behind me?
I sure do. I always wondered why you handicapped yourself with that right-hand drive.
But I was the only right-hand drive.
Yes, you were, and very successful at it too.
Yep, we won the championship the first season out. We did the whole circuit for 4 years straight, and then we absolutely loved it.
I tell you, you fellas, your whole team really did an excellent job. I can't imagine how many miles y'all logged in those years.
About 120,000 miles on the truck, and it was so much fun.
Yes.
You know, I had just posted a video of us in Englishtown. I had run over to my brother's wedding, and we were at Englishtown, and then we turned around and we unloaded the car, and then the following week we had to go to ATCO. So in ATCO we had to do a transmission after we had come back from the wedding. I flew home on a Saturday night, came back on a Sunday morning. So back in the day, a crew of mine, Travis Vaughn and Bruce Reynolds, we were racing, right? Yeah. And so we built this car. He was racing the Honda CRX front-wheel drive. I was racing the Supra. Yeah. In the time that we were doing that, we were building his second car because he wanted to be in a big boy race car. So we built this in 2005 and 6. We built the engine, the car got caged, everything happened. And in 2008, unfortunately, we all lost everything, right? So this went into storage for 17 years. We're putting it back together. We're doing a whole series, as you can see.
Bobby was announcing at a racetrack, and he never run out of words to say. He knew all the racers, their family, the whole history of them, so he could get them up in that upstairs and talk about them all day long. And they was wanting to hear.
Yeah. The big difference between our shows and a lot of the other ones people may have attended is we were fans. We're not only car show fans, but we were race fans, really strong race fans. Yep, so I was fortunate to get to know everybody, and so many people were really followed us from event to event to event. Of course, we had a real good championship thing going on. It was a lot of fun.
There is one guy who was on a little bicycle. He would come in the pits at Maryland in 2004, 5, 6. He's now a famous owner of a shop down in Florida. Induction Performance, yes. This guy came up to me on his bike in the MK3 as I was in the pits in MIR, and he's like, Sam, I love your car. I love this whole sport. He was young, he's grown up, and now he's become a very successful shop owner and engine builder. So I can't tell you how many grassroots people that NOPI created into grown-up, mature entrepreneurs building cars on daily, like Victory Motorsports. NOPI's coming back, NOPI Nationals. There's an invitational in February. Soon there'll be a NOPI Motorsports site coming back as far as parts and a store. Thank you.
Well, Sam, when the opportunity for NOPI to kind of get restarted, it was just a natural for you to be the man in charge.
Thank you very much.
You were there from the very beginning. You were there at the very last race, and you're going to be there at the very next race.
Welcome back to Sam's Garage, presented by NHOU. Sam meets up with David Reiser, the VP of Georgia Street Rod Association, to celebrate National Collector Car Appreciation Day.
Here we are, it is July 12, 2024, and this is the National Collector Car Appreciation Day that is actually recognized by Congress. And I was not aware of this until David Reiser came up to me last year and said, we got to do an event. And we did that last year. Now, what do we have in store for today? We got a lot of cars. How many cars do we actually have?
We have 101 cars registered. We're starting here at the Georgia Sheriff's Association headquarters in Madison. We're going to have a police escort cruise, and we'll end at the Dogwood Barn in Milledgeville, Georgia.
Now tell everyone your affiliation with GSRA.
I'm the vice president of GSRA, and I schedule all the events and do all the event planning for the Georgia Street Rod Association.
And tell everyone also about the Georgia Street Rod Association.
Georgia Street Rod Association is a statewide organization, approximately 500 members strong, the largest in the state of Georgia.
And then we got sponsors as well.
We have sponsors this year. I'd also like to thank the Dogwood Barn for renting us their facility, Lonnie Smith, who's providing all the meals, and Vintage Scoops, which is going to provide ice cream for everybody at the finish.
And I can't wait to have everybody there together and take awesome pictures. I am here with Sheriff Robert Markley, and we are at the Sheriff's Association, which is the start of our tour today here in Madison, Georgia. Can you tell us about this facility and the Sheriff's Association?
This is the Georgia Sheriff's Association headquarters. This is where the training for the Georgia Sheriffs occurs. It also houses the Georgia Sheriff's Retirement Fund and the Georgia Youth Home.
Can you tell everyone about the Sheriff's Youth Home for those who may not know?
First of all, it's over 70 years old now, and it's a great program. Thousands of kids have come through the Georgia Youth Homes. It's great assistance to these kids that just have no other place to be.
So if somebody wants to contribute to the youth home, where would they go about doing that?
They actually can contact here at the Georgia Sheriff's Association, or they can go online to the Georgia Sheriff's Association Youth Homes and make a contribution through there.
Very cool. Now this is a beautiful facility. How old is this facility?
This is actually about 2 years old now. They just moved here out of the McDonough area. We're glad to have them, and we look forward to a long relationship with them here.
The Sheriff's Association in Madison, Georgia, which is the start of our GSRA cruise. We are honoring the National Collector Car Appreciation Day, which is the second Saturday of every July, and it is recognized by Congress. As you see, we have a family affair here. I got my wife, Julie. I got my daughter, Madison, and her boyfriend, Zach. Are you excited about today's cruise?
I'm very excited.
You're driving a cool car with Zach as well. What is it?
We are. It's a 1984 Mustang GT convertible.
GT350 in this case, one of 100. Very cool. So you guys are going to have a lot of fun. I'm glad that you're here with me because we want to make everybody aware, especially the youth out there, that there is a Holiday Appreciation Day for gearheads. Second Saturday of every July, National Car Collection Appreciation Day. You guys check it out. You ready for the cruise?
I am very ready.
Let's do this. What an awesome season. We had a lot of diverse projects, the Catalina, the Bel Air, and the SC300. Very cool. Hope you guys enjoyed the season. We're going to go enjoy the National Car Collector Appreciation Day cruise. See you next time.
Be sure to check out Sam's Garage on these other media platforms. Send us questions and feedback to info@samsgaragetv.com. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Sam's Garage. Sam and Doug officially completed the great race. The Chevy Bel Air project has come to an end. Stay tuned for NOPI Motorsports 2025. And Sam showed us his appreciation for collector cars.